Hello everybody, welcome back to the CMA classes. My name is Soumya Santosh and I am a CMA final student. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the exemption and carry forward. What is the difference between these two and when we can go for them. Usually students are stuck between these two, whether they got exemption in the subject, even though when we got exemption, we cannot carry forward the full marks we got in. There are some conditions. So yes, don't worry CMA students, I am going to tell you about these things. So yes, okay, let's get into this. For the CMA Intermediate and CMA Final, we know for the basic funda to clear the exam, the first rule says that for the individual subject you have to score 40. Okay, and there are two groups, right, in the intermediate and the final, right, and in each of the group there are 4 subjects, right. So for the each subject we have to score minimum 40 marks and in aggregate you have to get 200 marks, then only you are going to clear that group. Okay, so this was the basic funda and we all know this. So let's go into the first point of the exemption. Okay, when a student can go for the exemption. Exemption means when you scored 60 marks, okay, 60 or more, which means 60 maybe you can get the benefit of exemption. Okay, so when you score 60 or more in any one subject or any 2 subject or more, okay, so the student can claim the exemption. But what about the other subject? Okay, there are some cases I'm going to explain you with the cases, but let me give you a little bit example so that you could easily understand what is exemption I'm going to tell you about. Okay, so for example, you scored less than 40 in any one subject, which means you failed. Okay, वो basic funda you didn't fulfill that basic funda, right? So let's take 38 marks. Okay, in one subject you got 38, in one subject you got 62 marks. Okay, so which means you couldn't clear that group. Okay, but in this case, as you know, you scored 62 for the, so in this case what is going to happen for the upcoming attempt, you can leave that particular subject. Okay, you need not to give that paper in which you got the exemption. Okay, this is all about the exemption part. Okay, so there is some criteria here when you are going for the upcoming next attempt, right? Let's take, this was December 2024. Okay, so the next attempt is going to be June 2025. Okay, when you are going to appear in that exam, there are some criteria. The criteria says you are only going to pass when you score 40 marks in each subject. As I know, if I got exemption in one subject, there are 3 remaining subjects, right? As we all know that there are 4 total subjects, right, in one group. So yes, so minimum criteria to same ही रहेगा, है ना? That you have to score at least 40 marks in each of the 3 subjects. Okay, but with that you have to score 50% in aggregate, which means you have to score 150 marks in the total. Okay, so total of 3 subject. Earlier it was 200, the aggregate was of 200, 4 subject. As I got exemption in one subject, which means the aggregate is going to be 150 here of the 3 subjects. Okay, now the question is ki what is going to be the marks counted here, how much marks is going to be counted. Okay, so the 50 marks in which you got exemption, ठीक है, in which subject you got the exemption will be counted. क्या कितना marks? 50, not the 62 you scored. Okay, so there is a difference, first difference. ठीक है, exemption में you will not get, और अच्छा, suppose you scored 72. Okay, you scored 72, even though you are not going to get that fully marks, you cannot carry forward here because you fail in that one subject, na? Okay, you got only 38 in one subject, so you can only take the benefit of 50 marks. 50 marks is going to be counted here. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. So let's take another example. If you got exemption in 2 subject, so how much you have to score? Which means if you got 2 subject exempted, there are 2 remaining subjects, right? So you have to go for only 2 subjects. So you have to score 100 marks. बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. So this was all about the exemption part. Let's take the another point. For how much attempt this exemption can be taken, can be carried forward for the 3 attempts. But now the question is, from for how much time from, and when it's going to be taken from. Okay, so it's going to be taken from immediately succeeding 3 attempts. For example, this was December 2024, you score exemption in one subject, so you can avail in 3 attempts. Like the 3 attempts is going to be here: June 2025, December 2025 and June 2026. Okay, now the question comes, what if you didn't appear in the exam? Is it the advantage, the exemption which I availed is going to be lapsed, or it's going to be counted here? Okay, even if you go and attempt the exam, okay, or if you do not attempt the exam, okay, the attempt, the exemption is going to be counted. Let me give you one more example here. For example, you appeared in December 2025. Again, you couldn't clear the group. Okay, but then after you unfortunately you couldn't go for December 2025 attempt. Okay, you directly gone for the 2026 attempt. So here the 3 attempts will be counted. Whether you go for whether you appeared in the exam, whether you have not appeared the exam, that would be counted. Okay, so June 2025 and you didn't go for December 2025, it's still going to be counted. Okay, and next June 2026. Okay, so that is going to be the 3 immediately succeeding attempts, from which attempt, December 24, when you get that exemptions. Okay, okay, now let's go for carry forward. What is the meaning and what is the difference between exemption and carry forward here? Okay, let me give you one example again. For example, you got the marks in one subject 72, okay, and you pass in all other subjects. Here I'm talking about only one group. Okay, in that one group you got 72 marks in one subject, and what about the remaining subject? You scored more than 40, baba. Okay, so you are simple pass in all the subject, but you couldn't clear because you didn't get that aggregate marks of 200. Okay, which means you got less than 200 marks. That's why you couldn't clear the exam. You couldn't clear the group here. Okay, so in this case your marks will be counted as what is going to be your first thing. Okay, so in this case, as you were passed in all the 4 subjects, okay, but you couldn't meet the second criteria, that aggregate of 200 wala, है ना? So here you will get the benefit. ठीक है, कितना marks is going to be counted here? 72 marks is going to be carry forward here. ठीक है, again I'm saying you got exemption here. ठीक है, which means this is more than 60, right? 72 is more than 60 ना? हाँ जी, ठीक है. With that you are passing all the subjects, guys. Okay, you are passed in all the subject, but you couldn't meet the aggregate of 200. Okay, which means you will get a benefit. Okay, so this full amount, the full marks is going to be taken for the next attempt. Okay ना, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी, this is going to be carry forward for 3 attempts. Okay, बात समझ में? Same previous वाला ही. Okay. Okay ji, haan ji. So here 50 wala it's not going to be counted like for the case of exemption, right? The full marks is going to be counted and that is going to be 72. सीधी सीधी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. So let me give you more cases so that you will get more clarification about this thing. Here in one subject you score 40, another 50. Then in third subject you score 38 and in fourth subject you score 70 marks, guys. ठीक है? So we can clearly see that in one subject you are failed. The student is failed. So tell me whether you are going to get the benefit of exemption or the carry forward. Rule number 1, to take the benefit of carry forward, you have to pass in all the exams, all the subjects, है ना? But in this case, you are unable to clear the exam, ठीक है? So unable to clear that particular subjects, all the subjects here, ठीक है? So definitely, I'm only going to get the benefit of exemption, and in exemption, what is going to be counted यहाँ पे marks 50, as 70 was more than 60, right? So the marks is going to be counted here is going to be 50. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी, बहुत अच्छे से आ गया. Let's go for the second case here. In one subject you score 45, another you score 50, then another you scored 55, and in the fourth subject you score 70 marks. Okay, I can simply see कि you have cleared in all the subjects. You have scored more than basic of 40, ठीक है, this is more than 40, this is more than 40, this is more than 40, and again this is exemption या फिर carry forward. अब बताओ, you have to think, ठीक है, सिंपल बात है, you have cleared this group guys which is more than, the aggregate is more than 220 and even you scored the basic of 40 marks. So simple hai, this group is clear. This is not the case of exemption and carry forward, but this I've given you the example. Okay, otherwise what is going to be the marks which is going to be carry forward? 70. Okay, hanji. Let's go for the case third here, where you scored 40 marks in one subject, 40 marks in the subject second, third subject mein you scored 42, and in fourth you scored 72. So what is going to be the marks counted here? It's going to be counted 72, not 50, because we have cleared all the subject basic requirement. We are passing all the subjects, ठीक है, we score more than 40. Okay, and with that exemption है, ठीक है, and that is going to be counted or not? नहीं, carry forward is going to be counted and the marks will be 72 which is taken here. Okay, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. Now what is going to be shown in your mark sheet, ठीक है? Okay, this was December 2024 attempt. Okay, you scored exemption, इतनी बात मुझे पता है, हाँ जी. But when I'm going to attempt for the next attempt, June 2025, and when I got the mark sheet in my hand, in that mark sheet it's going to be shown exemption, ठीक है, the subject in which I got the exemption, ठीक है, and I claimed it. Okay, so in my mark sheet the exemption is going to be shown SE. इतनी बात भी समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. नाउ द लास्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इफ़ you don't want to claim the exemption, पर उससे पहले आता है what if I want to claim that exemption? Do I have to fill any of the form? Is there any form to fill the exemption to avail that exemption? नहीं. You need not to file any form to get the benefit of exemption and carry forward. What you have to do, when you get the exemption in any of the subject, okay, you just need not to appear for that particular subject for the examination. For example, you scored exemption in cost accounting, okay, so need not to go to give that particular subject in which you score exemption, ठीक है, remaining जाके देना है वरना फिल वैसे ही हो जाएंगे. Okay जी, हाँ जी. So next question, don't want to claim the exemption. Again, if you don't want to claim the exemption, go and take your exam, give your exam. Simple बात है. Okay, but once you have given the exam, ठीक है, you have appeared for the examination, you will not get the exemption benefit. Like the exemption benefit was given for the 3 attempts, not the 4, ठीक है. So in this case you are not going to get that exemption benefit for further 2 more attempts, ठीक है, it's withdrawn automatically. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. So what if I want to claim, ठीक है, you need not to do anything, you need not to file any form, ठीक है, it's going to be automatically claimed. Just need not to appear for that particular exam in which you scored the exemption. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई? हाँ जी. Hope so you get my point. You know the difference between the exemption and carry forward when you can avail for these two. ठीक है. Hope so this video was useful guys. Okay, and if you have still further any other doubt, please let me know in the comment section. I'll tell you. ठीक है. And what you have to do, hit a like button, subscribe my channel and share this video to all the CMA aspirants. ठीक है. और उसके साथ ठीक है, बस इतना ही. Okay, we'll meet in our next video. Toodles guys.